Ahem, ahem, ahem. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test 1, test 2. Hello, hello. Are we streaming? Let's see, I've got visual on the stream. And let's see. Let me just turn on the sound on the stream again real quick to see if my own voice is coming through. Yeah, it sounds like I'm talking there. Yeah, I think it's fine. I'll put that back off. Let me know if the volume levels are bad or not. But otherwise, I think we're good to go. So, hello everybody. It's your pal Minsk here, ready to stream Stories from Sol, the Gun Dog, once again. It's been a couple of weeks since my last time playing this game. There was Easter and other stuff in between that prevented me from having a hot streak of streams of this game, but I really wanted to get back to this thing. It's been a, it's been on my mind because I really enjoyed the couple of times we did stream this. So today, we're going to do another couple of hours of Stories from Sol. Sound good? Good. So I hope everybody has a good time, whether you are popping in to watch this live, or you are, watching the VOD afterwards. That's very cool as well. I hope you enjoy it, because I've been enjoying this game so far. Let's get on it. Here we are in Chapter 4 with our hero, Sol Schutzhund. Let's see now. What are we supposed to be doing in this game again? Let's remind ourselves. So last time, we wrapped up our orientation on the ship, including an encounter with Sol's former squad mate, Hansen Kreese, or was it Kreese Hansen? Which one was the first and last name? I don't remember anymore. Anyway, he had a bone to pick with our hero, Ensign Schutzhund, due to the unfortunate events in the final battle of the Solar War. But with Cassie's help, we were kind of able to get through that. After that, we've slipped into the routine of being the security officer on board the Gun Dog. We doofed around a little bit. We helped out. What was his name? Dalton was the junior engineer guy. Helped him out with a bit of a pickle so he could work on his science project thing. That was fun. And then when we were approaching the O'Brien, the other JFS? JC. There's too many J starting acronyms here. I don't know which one it is. The other Navy ship, we were going to pull up to them. Some kind of bizarre sound burst thing overloaded the ship, struck the power out, and also knocked Cassie out. Oh, also, the captain is currently, I think, ill, so she's stuck in her quarters, which is why Cassie was sort of kind of taking the lead there. Very, very exciting opportunity for her, but didn't go so smoothly when that random pulse of energy hit us. So now the power's out, which is a huge problem, because apparently life support might also be down, so the air could be literally running as we speak. That'd be really mean if this game has a timed sequence and we could actually die because I'm standing around here yammering all the time. I hope that's not the case. But we'll see. So now we gotta explore here. Oh, we also helped out Hansen Kreese Hansen. Helped him out of being stuck in the elevator, and he was slightly less standoffish with us this time, as we showed a little bit of compassion for him in his trapped state. So he ran off to do something. We got to figure out how to fix the sitch. Let's really quickly look at the task. Find a way to reactivate the Gun Dog. That's kind of unclear on where we're supposed to go then to, specifically to do this. We'll try to figure it out. But yeah, let's play for a couple of hours today, see how far we get exploring. I'll have another break around an hour into this recording sesh, and we'll get back to it Maybe some other time. I'm kind of now committed to playing through this game, you know, because it's just very cute. So I'm kind of enjoying it. I do hope, folks, if you folks like this, you also support the developers. It's a nice little indie outing, so I think this is a game that's worth supporting the makers of the game for, if you are capable. Right, so, well, if I had to activate, I'd obviously go to where the life support is, which is the engine room. Just go see what the sitch there is, see if we can maybe get in there and fix things. We'll find out how it goes. As you leave the central hub and enter the long corridor that comprises the aft thoroughfare, the first thing you notice is the sound of your steps on the metal flooring ringing out and echoing down the corridor. Oh, right, there must be like a big old hum of the ship at other times, so it's like kind of eerie to be silent like this, yeah? Yeah. Normally, the vibrations from the engines would dull this noise, and it would be barely perceptible over their low and steady rumble. You had gotten to the point where you didn't even notice the constant noise at this end of the ship. But now that the corridor is silent, its absence hits you. Alright. The armory. I don't think there's gonna be anything in there that will help me out. Even though the ship is locked down, I'm not sure trying to blow them open would be a good idea. Huh. I should be able to find the chief in engineering. If anyone can figure this out, it'll be her. Oh, should I have a look around in the lobby, the central hub? Nah, it's too late for that, I guess. Well, I guess it's not. I could just kind of quickly backpedal and have a look-see. I can't hear anything from down that way. How eerie. The elevators are out of action right now. Hansen and I managed to force the doors open, but I shouldn't go inside. Knowing how these things work out, the doors would shut on me once I got inside or something. There are maintenance crawlways like this all over the ship. I was lucky that this one was so easy to access. I wouldn't want to try to find any of the others in the dark and without any guidance. You can normally hear noise from the engines even all the way up here. Once you get used to it, you stop hearing it, but now it's gone, the silence feels louder somehow. Oh, we already kind of had that there a minute ago, but sure. Alright, what's this door say? Oh, no, I read this already, yeah. Now, can we move... Oops. Ugh. Can we move there is a very good question. Do these doors work? Let's find out. At the end of the aft thoroughfare, where the corridor would normally transition from corridor into the engineering department, instead, you're met with a substantial glass door with the word engineering stenciled onto it. You run your hand over the surface before rapping on it with your knuckles. Here I come, tougher than the best of them, the rest of them rougher than leather. That wrong kind of rapping with your knuckles, I take it, but okay. My bad. I'm being silly, don't mind me, everybody. Oh, there was that. Look at that rap. Rap, rap, rap. Rather than the low ring, which would indicate it being relatively thin, this door returns a higher pitched noise, indicating that it's significantly thicker than normal. Unlike the rest of the doors on this ship, which are designed as entrances and exits, you can tell that this one exists more to block one section off from the other. Right, so we are not getting through the blast door very easily, are we? I guess I was feeling a little lucky. Feeling a little optimistic with the idea that in this depowered ship we just pull this door open. You instantly dismiss any thoughts of forcing it open. It's likely that even the contents of the armory couldn't shift it. Okay, so plan B of actually going and getting a hand grenade is also out of the cards. After a minute of two... That's a spelling mistake. That's not me making a mistake. That's a small little spelling mistake got in the text here. After a minute or two of fruitlessly inspecting it, you shrug to yourself. The only thing you can do right now is hope that the chief is nearby. Hey! Chief! You pound on the door with your fist, hoping that the sound makes its way through. This is a desperate ploy. We'll see how it goes. Chief! Can you hear me? You continue to pound on the door and yell, stopping every so often to hear if there's any kind of response. Chief! I'm out here! Chief! Hi! After a few minutes worth of attempting to make contact, you stop and flex the fingers on your right hand, cracking your knuckles to try and dismiss the discomfort, excuse me. Oh, yes. No, not that kind of character. Given the size of the engineering department, you begin to think about how close the chief would need to be to even hear you, and the odds of that happening. Yeah, especially with all the equipment being pretty far from the blast door. Yeah. Before you can resume your attempts, though, you hear a dull, repetitive thudding coming from the other side. Oh, hey. For a minute, that sounded like a really sick, Commodore 64 chiptune song about to, kick off. It sounded like the soundtrack to The Last Ninja 2 or something like that. But somebody could make some really sick tunes out of that beat that they were just doing there. But no, I think that may have been Morse code, mayhaps. I am not very good with Morse code. That makes it sound like I am any good at all with Morse code. No, I'm not. So I have no idea what they just transmitted. Chief! Can you hear me? I'm out here! You call, pressing your ear up to the blast door to see if you can hear an answer. Instead, you just hear the same dull, repetitive thudding. At first, it seems random and erratic, but the longer you listen, you begin to realize there's a pattern. Ooh, do we get to hear it again? I'm not crazy. That absolutely sounds like I've just, put in an Amiga or Commodore game into the machine, and, I'm booting it up, and, the menu screen is fading in. That sounds like intro music to a game like that. Oh, man. A guy can dream. Ugh! That's great. But what does it mean? In defeat, you slam your fist against the door one more time. Oh, no sound effect for that. Chief! I don't know if you can hear me, but I'll try and find a way to get in there with you. At least I know someone's in there. There's got to be some way I can get in touch with them. Send them a signal. Maybe there's something I haven't thought of yet. An emergency communication system? Something that's not tied into the ship? Think! Alright, well, I guess I could try this again, but this ain't happening. I know the chief's in there at least. I've got to find some way to get in there, or get in touch with her. Yeah, that's not happening. How about the armory? Can we go in there? You swipe your keycard through the card reader set into the terminal by the armory's door, and there's absolutely no response. Looking at the terminal, you can see there's no indication that it's working at all. Figures that with everything shut down, this wouldn't work. No sense wasting time around here anyway. I need to find some way to get in touch with the chief. Alright, let's back off then and think our options. I'm gonna go to the airlock. I can't think of any other good, options. Something that's not tied to the ship. Kind of sounds like we'd have to go on an EVA, you know? And a spacewalk, if you will. Which sounds a little bit spooky. I don't think there's any windows on the engineering section, so I don't think this is a good idea, but there's also the comms machine over here, you know? This thing which you can use to view the space outside. So, let's see if there's anything we can do here at the airlock, just in case. After that, I'll just start wandering the rest of the corridors and hope for the best. As you enter, the airlock hatch door looms large in the darkness. A shiver runs through you, and you rub your forearms. It wasn't something you'd noticed until now, but as you feel the goosebumps that cover your skin, you realize that the ship's temperature has now dropped noticeably. Okay, that I don't think is entirely physically accurate. I feel like a ship would not be... In space, it's kind of hard to lose temperature, you know? Like, you can't conduct and you can't convect, so the only choice is radiation. And I think a body radiates rather slowly in space. So, I don't know. Someone write in if my physics is wrong here, but whatevs. I've got to find a way to get things up and running again. Well, I've got an idea for a power source, actually. Let's have a look at the other... Nope, sorry. Let's have a look at some of the other stuff here real quick, just for funsies. But I actually just now realized I brought some power sources in here in the last stream. So let's see how that goes. Behind this panel is the manual control for the airlock hatch. I guess this is one of the few situations we'd use it. Although I don't plan on going on a spacewalk anytime soon. Dead. No time for stargazing anyway. If I wanted to get off the ship, it'd be through here. There'd be nothing waiting for me out there, though, so I better stick to trying to find a solution on board. Right, but let's take a look at these. Emergency spacesuits for use in the event of ship depressurization. Failure with the life support systems, or if the crew have to abandon ship. Hopefully I can get this solved without needing the extra air supply. Wait. I've just changed the batteries on these to make sure the radios would work in an emergency. I wonder if any of the other radios on board will pick up the signal. Oh, okay, not entirely what I thought. Sorry, I had to listen to that sick tune again. Right, I thought we'd take one of the batteries and jury-rig that somehow to provide power to the blast door or to some other device, but right, yeah, of course. The suits have completely fine working radios, to themselves, so, yeah. Let's just do that, shall we? Huh, I bet that's what the chief was trying to tell me. Of course she'd come up with a plan like this before anyone else. Now, let's see if I can reach her. Let's go. You grab the handle on the suit's container and twist. The metal in your hand is noticeably colder to the touch than it was the last time you were here. Ooh, that's that temperature. Ew. Once the lock is undone, you open the door and, bracing the suit with your left hand, grab the radio with your right. As you disconnect the radio unit from the breast panel, the spiraling plastic cord that connects it to the suit comes with it. Turning the radio in your hand, you find where the cord connects and unscrew the attachment point, allowing the cable to spring back towards the suit. You quickly extend the telescoping antenna and flick the power switch, which causes the sound of whining static to fill the previously silent room. You slowly rotate the tuning dial, working your way through the frequencies, until a familiar voice comes out from the tinny speaker. That might actually not be a spelling mistake. I was like tiny speaker, but also tinny is, the quality of a radio sound, so yeah. Oh, that's cute! There's a little, dot matrix portrait of her, of the caller, on the communications device. Isn't that funny? I love that. An emergency broadcast from Chief Engineering Mackenzie Cafes on the JFS Gundog to any JFS Gundog crew members or any JCF ships nearby. The Gundog has suffered a complete systems failure, and assistance is needed to get them back online. I repeat, this is an emergency broadcast from Chief Engineer Mackenzie Cafes on the JFS Gundog to any JFS Gundog crew members or any JCF ships nearby. The Gundog has suffered a complete systems failure, and assistance is needed to get them back online. Chief, this is Lieutenant Schutzhund reading you loud and clear. I've managed to get an emergency radio from one of the suits in the airlock. I'm able to get around the thoroughfares and to the bridge, but I can't get anywhere else. It took you long enough. What the hell has everyone been doing this whole time? You're just about to push the button to send your response, but the chief cuts in.
Anyway, you're in touch now. That's what counts. You said you could get to the bridge, is that right?
That's right.
And get back up there and get the captain to give me the input codes to access the main computer so that I can get the ship running again.
Slight complication, Chief. The captain's taken sick. She's not on the bridge.
Classic Barter Muse. Then get back up there and get Lieutenant Commander Quinn to give me the input codes.
She's out of commission too. She collapsed at the same time the ship's power went out. You release your thumb, allowing the chief to broadcast, but where you expected a swiftly delivered alternative, all you get is radio static. Yeah, it's kind of a bad sitch, you know. It'll leave a person speechless. Chief?
Nothing's ever easy, huh, Lieutenant? Who's currently on the bridge, then?
That'd be Lieutenant Lord.
Well, she's the commanding officer on board right now, I guess. You're gonna want to get up there. I've got an idea, but it's not something I can authorize.
Your grip on the radio tightens as a sense of apprehension grows within you. You don't know what the chief has in mind, but if it requires the authority of the ship's senior officer, you know that it's gotta be something dangerous. Realizing you've been holding your breath since the chief's last message, you breathe out and push the button on the radio side to send your message. Oh, hey, there was a friend of the show, Jonathan, on the chat here. This is good stuff. I've got to run, but I'll try and catch the replay of the rest later. No worries. Thanks for dropping in. I really appreciate it. If you've got the time later on, feel free to drop in and see how the story goes. But take care, buddy. Anyway, yes. Carrying on with the story. Copy that, Chief. Heading up there now. Radio in hand, you quickly make your way back from the airlock into the central hub, and then head straight for the maintenance crawlway. It only takes you a moment of groping around in the darkness to find a ladder rung before you are on your way back up to the bridge. As you climb, each rung that you grip is cold to the touch, and the air that you breathe has a brisk chill to it. Oh, we're going really quickly, by the way. I didn't have to do the whole move thing. We're just being pushed along. Okay, I appreciate it. You know what this means, but for the first time, no, whatever. You know what this means, but for the time being, decide to push that thought out of your head. You've got other things to focus on. Sorry, I was focusing on the whole thing where the game was like, you don't need to use the move thing. What are we, like? Oh, right, everything just keeps getting colder. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, okay. Alright. Yeah, it's kind of a problem. No, the whole oxygen thing's actually going to be a secondary problem at the rate that things are turning chilly here, so we'll see how this goes. The climb up seems a lot shorter than your original climb down, and you soon emerge back on the bridge. Vanessa swivels in her chair and paces over to you.
So, did you get in touch with anyone?
Kind of. You bring the radio up to your face so that the microphone is level with your mouth, and press the push-to-talk button with your thumb. Oh, good, it's a portable radio. Damn. I don't know why, but I was like, this is annoying. We have to, just run around between the suits and the bridge to relay the messages. Right, never mind, it's a detachable radio. Doy. I mean, it looked like a hand unit in the image we saw, so, yeah. Chief, I'm back on the bridge with Lieutenant Lord. Releasing the button, you walk past Vanessa, handing the radio over to her before heading towards Cassie. That's a fun little, little detail there, going over to look after Cassie, I dig that. Vanessa looks from you to the radio with mild bewilderment before the chief's voice sounds out from the speaker.
Lieutenant Lord, this is Chief Engineer's Cafes. Do you read?
As you kneel down by Cassie to check her pulse and temperature, as well as doing your best to tuck your jacket around her, the way the chief addresses Vanessa catches your attention. You hadn't heard the chief being that deferential towards anyone, even the captain. Interesting, I missed that. Hold on. I guess that's pretty straightforward from her. She's been pretty brusque otherwise, yeah, but, you know. Yeah, okay, it's hard to tell.
I hear you, Chief Cathays. Captain Bartermuse and Commander Quinn are both incapacitated, so I'm in command of the Gundog until such a time as they can return to duty. Understood?
You frown slightly hearing Vanessa assert her position over the chief like that. I don't know. Situation is bad. Although she is the ranking officer in this situation, you'd not heard anyone on board pull rank in that way, especially on the chief, who you were under the impression enjoyed the respect of everyone on board, including Hansen and Haru. Yeah, it's a good point, you know. The chief seemed like, you know, she seemed on the level with everybody, and everybody seemed to be pretty on the level with her, you know. She's keeping everybody alive, so it makes sense, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now, have you got a plan, Chief Cathays? Or has Lieutenant Schutzen brought me this radio so we can have a chat about how nothing's working on your end either?
As you stand and turn to face Vanessa, you catch the last few moments of a distasteful look she'd been making at you whilst your back was turned, and do your best to bite your tongue.
Yes, ma'am. Lieutenant Schutzen had explained to me that both the captain and Commander Quinn are out of action. So I'm aware neither one of them will be able to give me the input codes required to reactivate the central computer.
We know that, Cathays. What's the solution?
The only hope we've got right now is that the captain has copies of the documents that contain the access codes in her quarters. If someone could get in there, then they can get the codes and tell them to me, letting me reactivate the ship's systems.
Now hold on a minute. If we go into the captain's quarters and get her documents, we could just ask the captain for the code, because she's in there, you know? She's there being sick. Well, being quote-unquote sick. I'm sorry, everybody. It's my narrative sense is telling me there's something other than a mere illness going on, so I'm curious to see what the actual reason is, but yes, quote-unquote sick. Yeah. So anyway, like, yeah, this seems, I don't know why we had to hunt for documents specifically, but whatever.
If we'd been able to get into the captain's quarters, we'd have done that already. The whole ship's in lockdown and there's no way to get in there.
You notice the slightest pause before the chief responds. You could be projecting. I'm off my game today. You could be projecting, but you get the impression that she's just as fed up as you are. Yeah, no kidding.
Not quite, ma'am. Although all the terminals and most of the hardware on the ship is dependent on the central computer, we've got a tool that we use when something needs to be disconnected from the system. We use it for maintenance or debugging, the PST, or Portable Subterminal. It's effectively a standalone power pack with a microcomputer built in that provides enough power to activate the hardware attached to a terminal. It'll let us get into the captain's quarters, and then from there we can get the codes to start the computer back up.
So, where is this PST?
The Pacific Standard Time. I've already forgotten. What was it? Portable Subterminal. Got it. Yeah, I was just thinking PST.
It's in the hangar.
We can't get in the hangar either. I know you're stuck in engineering, Cathays, but the story's the same for the entire ship.
Another silence follows, longer this time. Yeah, I was kind of worried, like, it's never going to be that easy, right? Like, it'd just be in a closet here nearby, so, yeah. Of course, it is in yet another closed-off spot.
That's true if you're trying to get to the hangar from inside the ship, ma'am.
And that's kind of what I was also afraid of, is the next answer is, we certainly can't open that airlock. Right? Oh boy.
but the gun dog has 2 entrances that can be activated entirely manually. The main onboarding airlock and the hangar crew airlock. If someone left the ship via the onboarding airlock, they could make their way to the crew airlock for the hangar and re-enter there. Then, they could get the PST and make their way through the ship as normal.
I see. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Engineer Gathés, but aren't yourself and Cadet Grange the only crew on board qualified for extravehicular activity in space? And you're currently stuck in engineering, whilst we can't get in contact with Cadet Grange to just bring us the PST?
Yes, ma'am.
You begin to feel a knot in your gut and eternally curse at Dalton for not having picked up enough of the Chief's know-how to have found an emergency radio of his own. Yeah, and I think that knot in the gut is what we're about to be doing in just a minute here. Oh boy.
And policy dictates that all EVA needs to be commanded by an operations officer.
The knot in your stomach tightens as you take a deep breath in. Vanessa's eyes are now locked on you. Oh no.
Yes, ma'am.
The slightest hint of a smile forms on Vanessa's face. Oh, that's creepy! We haven't seen a smiling portrait for her yet. I don't like this.
Well, Lieutenant, it looks like you're going for a walk.
You'd seen this coming as soon as the Chief had begun outlining the plan, but you'd been hoping that there'd be some extra part that hadn't been revealed yet, something that would allow you to stay on board. Faced with Vanessa's directness, the knot in your stomach tightens further. A sense of nausea rises from your gut. No, I think... No. Saul is too, what needs to be done needs to be done. He would, they would give in at this point, Just be like, yep, alright, we gotta do this. So, yeah. Some people took well to spacewalks. Some even enjoyed them so much they'd taken on careers in colony construction and repair, where they'd spend more time in the vacuum of space than they did inside the colony or on ships. You were not one of those people. You'd only ever left the confines of a ship or colony a few times in your life, and almost all of those had been evacuation drills that you'd been through in a school or during citizenry courses. That's some intense school stuff, but I guess, yeah. Yeah, I guess, school life on a space colony would have something intense like that, so yeah. On every occasion that you could remember, you'd reacted badly, but managed to keep it to yourself. Something about being out in the void, an attachment clip or handrail away from drifting off into the endless nothingness of space, had always filled you with dread. The knowledge that you were a slip away from disappearing forever, irretrievable and helpless. Yeah, But, despite all that, you knew full well from Vanessa's discussion with the Chief that there was not going to be any way around doing this, and right now you were their ship's, Cassie's, only hope. As much as you hated the thought of it, you pushed back against the fear that had been rising up inside you. Taking a deep breath, you resigned yourself to what you had to do. Fine, I'll do it. The Chief can walk me through everything that I need to know on my way over to the airlock. Oh boy, yeah.
The dashing security officer diving headfirst into danger. Aren't they great, Lieutenant Commander Quinn? So selfless.
Vanessa rolls her eyes, covering her mouth with the back of her hand and putting on a mocking tone.
Oh, my hero. So brave going into space to save us. Only you can...
You snatch the radio off Vanessa and turn your back on her, heading towards the maintenance crawlway. Yeah, I don't know, Yeah, her attitude hasn't been great. That's a low point in her, bad attitude. Why is she being that antagonistic about the only person who's going to save our lives? At this point, you've had just about all you can take of her, so the sooner this situation is resolved, you decide, the sooner you can go back to avoiding her. Yeah, no kidding. It's getting to the point where it's like, you know what? I'd rather take the cold embrace of space at this point than listen to you any longer.
Oh, quit making a big deal of this with all your huffing and puffing, Lieutenant Schitzhund. From what I've heard, hanging out in space is something of a pastime of yours.
Whoa! Whoa! Jeez Louise! I get it, okay. Like, last time, I wasn't entirely on board with, like, Vanessa sucks train. Like, I was like, yeah, she's an acerbic personality. She's not a great people person, but, like, I can forgive that to some extent. And now she's just being so mean. Good lord. Good lord, Lieutenant Lord. Wow, we're just gonna let that one hang. Oh no, it's a flashback time. Never mind. I was like, wow. With that comment, you feel like your heart's dropped out of your chest. You quickly spin back to face Vanessa.
Lieutenant?
Reining in the flash of anger you just felt, you silently shake your head as you turn back around and grab a hold of the first rung of the crawlway's ladder. Interesting, no option here to to deck Vanessa the same way there was the option to fight Hansen at some point. Alright. Or, you know, anything at all. That seems like the kind of point you'd put a choice at least to, like, let it go or, like, explode, but... Okay, maybe not. I guess not, sure. Chief, I'm on my way to the airlock now. Walk me through what I need to know.
Wait!
With one hand still on the ladder's rung, you pause and turn around. Yes, Lieutenant Lord? You just about managed to ask through gritted teeth. Oh yeah, I should have been way more like, yes, Lieutenant Lord? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not really doing the emotions of distraught Saul correctly in this scene, you know? Should have been way tenser with the chief there as well, like, I'm on my way through the airlock now. Walk me through what I need to know. And then this one just like, yes, Lieutenant Lord.
Don't you think you're forgetting something?
Doing your best to suppress the urge to scream that you can feel building inside your chest, you pause for a moment and stare at Lieutenant Lord, trying to puzzle out what kind of mind game she's playing. Lieutenant Lord, if there's... Before you've finished, Vanessa rolls her eyes and turns on her heels, walking back over to Cassandra and squatting down. You almost yell out when Vanessa lays her hand on Cassie's hip, but you stop when you see her withdraw a key card from Cassie's skirt pocket. Holding it between her thumb and forefinger with a flourish, she waves it at you She waves it at you as she stands up and walks back over to you.
The central computer can only be accessed by the captain or members of operations. Good luck getting in there without this.
Vanessa casually tosses you the card, which you grab out of the air. You got Cassandra's key card. Yep, desperate times, desperate measures. Guess we gotta take someone else's key card. You turn the card over in your hand a few times before pocketing it. But the chief said that the PST used its battery power to open...
I can see what you and her see in each other. As if hooking a battery up to a door would get you around the ship's security systems. You're still gonna need to have the right authority level to get through. Honestly.
At this point, your jaw is clenched so hard, it feels like your teeth may crack at any second. But with the cold chill of the ladder rung reminding you just how dire the situation is getting, you turn back around. Thank you, Lieutenant. You just about manage. Still there, Chief? I'm heading to the airlock now. Boy, they're really jumping us from place to place now, you know? I guess, fine. Sure, why not? But, you know, seem to be part of the whole, like, ambiance of, like, moving around from place to place to have to, like, do it manually. A little bit of gameplay in this, visual novel. Oh, look, we're already in the suit, because it's missing from here. And she's talking about it here.
Have you got the radio coming through the helmet speakers, Lieutenant?
The Chief's voice fills your helmet. The sound quality somehow worse than the speaker on the main radio unit itself. Oh, wow, so I should really be lonely like that. No, I'm not going to be that bad, everybody. It's fine. Loud and clear, Chief. You respond, securing the radio onto the suit's breast panel.
You've got the emergency suit on and sealed?
Yeah, currently breathing in the suit's oxygen supply. What now?
Do you see the access panel next to the internal airlock hatch?
The spacesuit's helmet is attached to the rest of the suit in a fixed position, so, although you turn your head to check, all you can see is the helmet's interior. Oh, that's distracting. Oh yeah, I would have trouble getting used to that. You turn your whole body in an exaggerated motion to look for the emergency access panel and spot it on the other side of the hatch. I see it, Chief. I'm heading over now.
Alright, you'll need to remove the panel in the same way that you did the one on the bridge. Once you've got it off, you'll see a large handle. Cranking that lever operates the manual override that will open the hatch to the airlock.
Understood. Although you'd had to learn to operate the airlock manually in basic training, you didn't feel that now was the time to dismiss the Chief and act like a know-it-all. She was likely getting her fill of that from Lieutenant Lord. Oh, do we have we have two different radios, I guess, maybe, perhaps? Oh, it makes sense we'd, take the... No, because we took the radio from Vanessa. I don't know, whatever. Let's not worry about it. Okie dokie. Underneath that panel is the manual control for the external airlock hatch. I'll need to remove it if I'm going to open the airlock hatch. This isn't going anywhere until I've got that access panel open. Emergency spacesuits. Thankfully, they were easy enough to access. Yep, okay. Oh, well, let's look at the panel. Absolutely useless with the power out. No worth wasting time on. Yeah, I can imagine this being terrifying, having to do this. It's a classic of the genre, having to do the spacewalk in a situation, that you're not the guy to do them, and it's, really, really not by protocol, but, what you gonna do? You kneel down by the panel and attempt to find the gap between its edge and the surrounding wall. This is made a lot harder by the thick material of your suit. After a few attempts to find it, the tips of your gloves catch in the recess. You work your digits in more until you find a catch that you can squeeze. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, it looks pretty simple to use. It's not super chonky. The panel falls away from the wall, and you take hold of it, placing it to the side. Underneath is a long handle marked Emergency Use Only. Alright, that's the access panel out the way. I see the handle.
Good. Now you're going to want to turn it counterclockwise and keep going until the hatch is open.
Is that right? That arrow looks like it's supposed to be going clockwise. Understood. Maybe that's not an arrow. Maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. Placing your left hand at the bottom of the handle and your right hand at the top, you apply as much force as you can to push it clockwise. Wait, it was supposed to be counterclockwise. Wait a minute. Your initial heave barely moves it, despite your effort. Oh, it's not easy. Okay, never mind. It looks like it's not too bad. Come on! You grip the handle again and place your entire body weight behind your effort to shift it. This time, it moves more noticeably. But when you look at the airlock hatch, it doesn't appear to have opened at all. With another grunt, you push the lever the full 90 degrees, allowing it to return to its neutral position. Although it still resists you, you're able to feel the ratchet mechanism begin to move. Nothing's... You push the handle 90 degrees again before letting it reset. Ever... You adjust your grip and push the handle again. Easy! You complain through gritted teeth as you feel the mechanism slowly but surely moving a little bit each time. As you carry on this process of straining against the mechanism, you complete crank after crank. You can hear the mechanism of the airlock groan and strain with each turn. I hope there's some fast catch release thing then eventually, that it just snaps open, or otherwise we're going to be here for a while. Eventually, something gives, and the mechanisms in the airlock uncouple, releasing their locks, and the whole thing slides open. Yeah, that went pretty easy, thank goodness. Oh my god, that's elaborate. Yeah, that is a high-risk zone. I guess the really rough part is we're gonna have to do this 2 more times. Because we gotta close this door, and we can't let air vent out from the rest of the ship, you know? Even if the other places are sealed, there's a direct path to the bridge. Cassie and Vanessa would die. So, yeah, this is gonna take a while. You can feel the sweat on your brow and curse that you'd put the suit on beforehand, preventing you from wiping it off. Okay, Chief. I'm heading into the airlock chamber. What's next?
You'll see a similar panel on the opposite end of the hatch inside the chamber. Same deal, but in reverse.
Makes sense. Okay. Once inside the airlock chamber, you spot an identical access panel and quickly get to work. Unfortunately, it's just as hard to close the hatch as it was to open it. Interior hatch is closed. Now what? You try to keep your breathing under control as the inside of your helmet begins to heat up, reminding you of another reason you've never been fond of them.
What you're gonna need to do next will be to vent the air in the chamber, and then open the exterior hatch. To start with,
the Chief walks you, step by step, through the process as required. Although you remember most of this from training, you're thankful for the help, as a few parts had slipped your mind. You carry on following the Chief's orders until, with one final monumental heave, you get the external hatch open. You step away from the lever and head over to the opening. That probably makes sense that you'd first vent the air and then open it. For one, you'd get sucked in and probably be sent hurtling away from the ship. That's bad, obviously. The other thing, I imagine the pressure difference might actually make it, difficulter to open the door. So, I guess, yeah. Any story you see with an airlock like this, they always do the whole pressurization, depressurization thing. So, yeah, I think it just is protocol. You know, it just makes sense. So, yeah. Seeing the stars in front of you, rather than through a terminal or view screen, fills you with the familiar dread you'd felt on the bridge. Yeah, this is it. This is really spooky, honestly. All right, Chief. I'm heading out. Pressing firmly on a switch on the suit's breast panel, you hear a momentary high-pitched whine as the soles of the boots are drawn towards the airlock floor. Okay. With the electromagnets now active, each step is an effort, but at least you know you won't go hurtling into space. That's very good. Very smart. Yeah, very good that is a option in this outfit. Would have been very terrifying otherwise. Now, are we going to get some kind of, They're skimping a little bit on the visuals here with this jet black screen, just leaving it very theater of the mind. But I would really appreciate at least one, exterior shot of the ship's hull as we're walking on it. So let's see if we get that here. Oh, thank goodness, yes. If you waited a second longer, we would have gotten it. This is, this is lovely. Yeah, I'm glad they understood that you need, some kind of really nice shot for this big moment here. So, you place one foot right on the edge of the airlock hatch and stare out into the emptiness. You see nothing but stars, with light years of gulf between them and you. I wonder if I would be okay with this, I wonder how well I would handle, if I had to go on a spacewalk. It's one of those questions it's pretty much not possible for the average person to ever get to answer, but, Because, I'm on the record, I don't have much in the way of thalassophobia. I don't... I'm not freaked out by the ocean or its vastness. But space is still a whole different ball game in some sense. So I don't know. Also, I haven't really been in actual mega open water ocean space, ocean seas thing. Not much. But I have done diving at one point in life, and I've been in, like, there's been moments of sheer emptiness all around you, even if I knew that I'm, like, fairly, like, close to shore and stuff. I've handled those moments all right. So, yeah. But then, like, mega open ocean with, like, kilometers deep, I don't know. Maybe I would have a freak out in an environment like that. Mayhaps. I don't know. So maybe all I'm saying is maybe I'm not as badass as I pretend to be, and maybe going out into space would also make me into a baby man. I don't know. With your next step, you head out into the nothingness, pivoting on the axis of your foot at the edge of the airlock. The step that you took into space brings your foot back down on the Gundog's exterior hull. Even though the ship had fallen silent since its power had been knocked offline, that hadn't been true silence. There had been the echo of your footsteps, the almost inaudible sounds of things other crew members were doing in the far-off reaches of the ship. Out here, all you could hear was your own breathing and the whine of the magnets. Oh yeah, it should be very like gravity, just... Which, you can't normally hear your own breathing unless you're very heavy breathing. I can make out my breathing very noisy here. There you go. But like, your normal breathing, you don't really notice. But I guess in utter silence, you could hear that, Ugh. I hear, like, in, like, the quiet rooms on, like, space stations, it's so quiet, you can hear your own food digesting in your stomach. That is a thing I have heard. I don't know how truthful that is, but it made me go, like, oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't know if I want to experience that ever, if that is possible. You take a moment to orientate yourself and turn 90 degrees to your right, angling yourself towards the front of the ship. With a little difficulty, you bring one foot up and away from the hull and place it back down in front of you. Another great, this exterior shot of the entire ship, very cool. I really appreciate that. Slowly but steadily, you make your way towards the hangar airlock. Oh no, you're on the comms too? Ah, shit. Oh, this portrait, by the way, very fun with these radio portraits. I really dig it. She looks very, very Kuroko from Watamote in this image. Maybe this is what Kuroko ended up doing. Grown up, she ended up enlisting with the JCF and changed her name. I'm gonna make that headcanon. I don't know. I Watamote was too difficult for me to read because it was just so like, oh no. I've heard that like it's kind of a normal slice of life slice of life manga nowadays. Like Kuroko has made friends and is kind of having a normal life to some extent. Like she's still dealing with her issues, obviously, but like she's not entirely isolated and being in an awful place. I've heard that's the case. Interesting if that is the case. Very, very hopeful. I appreciate that. Still not going to read it, probably. I don't think I have it in me, but the thought is nice.
Still with us, Lieutenant Schitzhund? Haven't gone hurtling off into space or anything?
You roll your eyes as you plod forwards. Still here, Lieutenant Lord.
Good, good. What's your ETA on the hangar airlock?
You quickly do some rough maths around what you know about the Gundog's dimensions. The airlock's around the midpoint of the ship, 250 meters long. About 5 minutes, Lieutenant.
This isn't a Sunday afternoon stroll at the replica garden, Schitzhund. Pick up the pace!
You allow yourself the opportunity to curse openly at Vanessa before hitting the push-to-talk button again. Yes, ma'am. You carry on the laborious march to the hangar crew's airlock, slowly heaving 1 foot at a time away from the ship's hull before placing it back down in front of you. There are a few awkward areas where the ship's hull rises or falls, and you have to navigate your way across them. Yeah. This was some of the best parts of Dead Space also, you know. I was going to say Dead Space 2, but I meant Dead Space also. But Dead Space 2 also. is some of those the EVA and vacuum parts were so well done in that game. I really loved those. The loss of a constant bearing begins to disorientate you, but you march onward, ensuring that you're heading consistently in a straight line, regardless of orientation. Eventually, you see the distinct markings that indicate an airlock hatch in the distance. Although it's marked in the same way as the one you'd emerged from, this one is much smaller, scarcely bigger than the typical doorway inside the Gundog. You enjoy a momentary celebration, then pick up the pace. Interesting. Yeah, okay, yeah. It is the crew auxiliary airlock, right. Alright, Chief. I'm at the hangar crew airlock.
Okay. If you look to the right of the door, you should see an access panel with a lever underneath, just like the others.
Okay, let's see. Ooh, why this extreme close-up? Are we doing a puzzle? Oh boy. Does this game have puzzles? Oh boy. Due to the orientation from standing on the ship's hull, the airlock entryway is laid out at your feet. Oh, right, of course. Oh, yeah, of course, because we're standing perpendicular to the hull. Yeah. You shift yourself to be able to look to the right and see the panel which you head over to and squat down in front of, running your fingers around its edges to find the now familiar recess. If it was smart design, they'd set up like a stand that a person using mag boots could be standing next to, and it would be normally orientated to a person like that, but I don't know. With a practiced movement, you undo the clip. Unlike the panels inside the ship that freely come away, this one swings on a hinge, revealing the lever underneath. Right, yeah, you don't want this thing floating off into space, although I guess, you could also just have replacement hatches on the ship to attach, so, yeah. Oh, it is a puzzle. Hopefully, this should be easier on a smaller hatch. You mutter to yourself, reaching for the lever. Except that we gotta figure out a passcode. Oh, no. Chief?
What is it?
It's the lever. It's, You run your hand a few more times over the lever, which is visible, but inlaid into the hull, perfectly level with its surroundings. Whereas you'd been able to remove the panel cover by finding the recesses, there was nothing like that here, making grasping the lever impossible. I can't get any purchase on it. It's completely flush with the hull. There's no way to grip it. Chief?
Lieutenant Lord, do you know what the current security code is? Of course I don't. They're like the emergency input codes. Only the captain or the second-in-command knows them. Why? Chief Engineer Cathays, I ask you a question.
There's a moment of radio static, but you can hear the chief sigh through the crackle and distortion. Okay, I'm running out of ideas myself. I don't know what we're going to do about this one. Oh, boy.
In order to gain entry to an airlock from outside, you need to input the ship's security code into the number pad. It's an analog locking mechanism, but you still need that code. God damn it! God damn it, God damn it, God damn it, God damn you, miserable excuse for a captain! God damn you, Quinn, you absolute airheaded
Hey! Watch yourself, Lord.
Oh, shut up, shitsend. Because of your stupid bimbo girlfriend deciding that now's a great time to take a nap, I'm stuck on a dead ship, running out of air, trying to herd you knuckleheads around on stupid, pointless errands.
Stow it! That's just a straight up Metal Gear, MSX Metal Gear alert sound. I love it. I'm not a big fan of this either, but right now we're the best hope this ship's got. So if you could put a lid on the gigantic bitch act for 5 minutes and help us figure out how to solve this, we can... How dare you? I said stow it! I'm really curious what's going on, because you'd think the chief would have done this by now. So, like, is there something the chief knows that we don't know? Like, you know, did we make a bad move by just, like, telling Vanessa to shut the hell up? I don't know. It's interesting. 5 minutes, Lieutenant Lord. Then, once I'm on board, I can handle the rest of it myself. Then, you can go back to pretending you're the most important crew member.
This is insubordination. I'll have...
All right, fantastic. Chief coming in here.
All right, you two, that's enough.
Both you and Vanessa snap into silence with the chief's interjection. Before either of you can start up again, she carries on in a commanding tone.
Lieutenant Lord, do you know how long the security code is? Do you know the punishment for addressing a senior officer like that? No, ma'am, I do not. But if it gets Lieutenant Schutzhund on board any sooner, I'll say it's worth it. Do you know how long it is? It's 4 digits. Thank you. Now, do you have any idea? Of course I don't have any idea. It's Quinn's responsibility to generate and set those kinds of codes.
Oh, by the way, if you ever want access to my quarters, the passcode for the lock is our anniversary.
Oh, no. Do I have to remember that?
It's pretty much the same passcode I use for everything.
Right, because also remember, like, she flunked the exam, like, ages ago when she just changed the password by 1 digit? That one, like, exam and training? Oh, boy. Oh, I don't need to do that, but I think I might know it.
What?
I said I think I might know it. It's... You rack your brain trying to remember the date where you and Cassie first visited the Europa amusement park. It was... Holy moly! There's no possible way I can remember what it was from so long ago. Oh, shit. I guess we're dead. Well, you know what, guys? I've been recording for an hour now, so we should take a quick break here. So, everybody, I will be back in 5 minutes. Please take this moment to stand up and get something to drink and have a panic attack. I promise I'm not going to look this up off screen, which could be something I could do right about now. Because, like, yeah, but, like, this is really rough, actually. Because, like, you know, I have the handicap of, like, you know, coming back to this, like, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks later. So, like, you know, I haven't stuck that in my brain. I don't suppose we could scroll 1,000 rows of dialogue back here. No, it's yeah, we will only go this far back. Yeah, nope, that plan's also out. Yeah, so this is really rough because I think even an average person who's been playing this game at this point, you're like, well, if you're playing faster than me, you're probably like 3 hours in. So it's been a couple of hours since Cassie mentioned the code. It's very likely you have, for a person might forget it as well, unless I'm just a dum-dum and the average person can retain that code. I don't know. That's really annoying. I really should have like committed that to memory when she said it so long ago. Oh boy. Yeah, but I am going to... I can't even access. I would love to check the data thing, that check like if there was some kind of like date mentioned in the data information, but I can't do it. Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break now, so you should also too. Get something to drink, go use the bathroom if you need, and come back in 5 minutes, and we will have an anxiety attack. Okay? Okay. So see you soon, everybody. Bye. Righto, everybody. Welcome back for hour 2 of today's Stories from Seoul, the Gundog stream. We are about to try to input the date, our anniversary of our first date. I'm going to make a wild swing here in a minute. Before we try that and face our impending doom as we all die away, wanted to really quickly just have a quick chat on the giant robot topic. I wanted to recommend the new Mobile Suit Gundam series. I've been watching it now. I've caught the first 3 episodes of Mobile Suit Gundam GQOX, I think is how they... I'm trying to pay attention to how they pronounce it, and I think that's how it is. Of course, the ridiculous spelling of it, which is GQ, 6-letter U's and X, makes me want to pronounce it the Gundam GQX, but no one actually calls it that in the show. But that's fine. But yeah, no. Apart from the atrocious title, yeah, I really liked it. It's got very lovely visuals. The robots, I think, are like computer generated, and sometimes the action is a bit busy and hard to follow because of that. But it doesn't look as bad as like those like mid-2000s cartoons and anime that would have like big CGI animated robots wandering around like, cell animation characters. Like the Transformers Energon and Cybertron come to my mind as examples of like not super good looking kind of shows like that. But yeah, I think they got it better still despite that. The robot design is great. The character design is amazing. The main characters look so wacky and cartoony, and I was like, is this gonna work? But really fascinatingly, like a lot of the other world still feels very grounded, and the characters still seem like a little bit sharper. Like when they show all the like Principality of Zeon guys, they look, they look like characters from original UC Gundam, like, puffed up to normal standards, and it somehow just kind of works with the like kind of clashing character designs. It is really nice to look at. I'm really enjoying it. The whole story is interesting. The whole underground Gundam fights, like, okay, cool. It's interesting that both of the last 2 Gundam series have seemed to want to explore something other than constant warfare, which, it's always a military conflict going on, in Gundam. But now they're trying to find like alternate things for, giant robot fights as a backdrop. Like it was corporate intrigue and, corporate intrigue and, school life clashing with that in Witch from Mercury. And now here it's like street fights basically, but with underground street fighting, but with giant robots. And but it's still but it still feels authentic with all the like plotting of like the various colonies in space and the situation and everything. And I also gotta say, like, I was a little like, oh boy, when it was revealed that it's gonna be an alternate reality. What if Zeon won the war? Like, oh boy, I don't know, because like there's a lot of people who are weirdly fond of Zeon online. I know that Gundam is a very ambiguous series where it's supposed to be very shades of gray, but it is a little uncomfortable sometimes the way people, and like Zeon's, the colonies are often very justified in their response to the Federation for multiple reasons, as the series has made clear. But Zeon's, at least the governing body of Zeon, I don't find very sympathetic at all. So it's like a little creepy when like this very fascist organization gets a little bit of love online. So I was a little worried that this one might be some kind of worship for that as well, but it is more nuanced. It really does go and point out that Zeon won the war in this version, but like it isn't an idealistic situation at all for Zeon or for anybody else. Like it is still just as much a broken world as the regular UC, and that's very fun to explore that. I really appreciate that they took that tack. Oh, and also I love that Shalia Bull, a 1-episode villain from the original UC Gundam series, Like, he is now like a central figure. If you folks don't know, he was supposed to have a bigger role, but they had to cut the original Gundam down a lot, you know. It was supposed to be, I think, like 50 episodes, and they cut it down to 42 episodes. And Shalia ate the worst of that. Like, he only then ended up becoming a single episode villain when he was supposed to have like a bit of a story arc. So I think that's really, really fun. That's probably the best like throwback to old fans, to have Shalia show up as like a recurring character in this alternate narrative continuity. I really, really like that. What I find a little bit more confusing is how, for some reason, the original Gundam's design is different, and so is a bunch of the like quote-unquote original robots from the year 79 of the Universal Century. I get that it's that they want to design new robots to sell new toys, but even then, like, you know, you could have totally had those original robots look the original way they do, and then, you know, in the present timeline of the series, due to divergent development, then have all new robot designs for that time period. Like, I'm a little bit baffled by the choice to have the Gundam look so dramatically different, even in its original incarnation. You know, especially because that second episode is such a like fan service for old time fans, with all the like, you know, like throwbacks to what the original series was like. Like, it was, you know, very, very fun in that sense. So it's just kind of weird that then the choices of like using these modern designs then kind of messes it up a little bit, I feel like. Yeah, that's enough. That's my recommendation. Based on like 3 episodes in, it's very, very delightful. Please consider watching Gundam GQX. Now we gotta get back to this game, as I promised. Ay. Okay, here's my guess, everybody. 3, 1, 0, 7, 31st of July. What a romantic day to go on a date. You quickly punch in some digits, hit the enter key, then look across to the handle, which remains set into the recess in the hole. Nerds. Now we die. That wasn't right. You return your attention to the number pad and prepare to try one more time. Oh my god, please give me some kind of flashback to that scene, or is this really a non-standard game over? I can't believe if they... I'll admire the moxie of the developers to some extent, if that's what they really did, but oh boy, I really hope that's not the case. Okay, was it 24? Why do I keep thinking July? With a bit more thought, you type in the 4 digits, hoping, but still unsure, that you've got the right date this time. You press the enter key with a sense of trepidation. You wait a few seconds, watching the lever for any sign of movement, but after it fails to budge, you groan in frustration. Oh, come on!
Problem, Lieutenant?
I thought I knew what this code would be, but I don't know whether I'm getting it wrong or whether it's something else. You pause briefly. Could it be that you're just being optimistic that the security code would be your anniversary with Cassie? Or are you getting the date wrong?
And how would you know what it is, Lieutenant? These security codes are high-level sensitive information.
You don't want to tell Vanessa the reason behind your hunch, so instead you scramble for a lie. You know, I just realized for a minute, I was like, you know, I could look at the card from Cassie that we got, like maybe that would have the answer. But the problem was that the number pad, you know, we didn't have the option to look at our items, so I was helpless. Yeah. Oh, I wonder if Cassie's gossiped about this to Vanessa. That could be the answer. I think it might be the passcode for Lieutenant Commander Quinn's quarters. That's not even a lie. That's correct.
As if, Lieutenant. There's no way that even Quinn here would be so unprofessional as to use her personal passcode as the security code for the ship. Get real.
Well, it's the best guess I've got.
Besides, I've heard you two coming and going at all hours. How could you possibly have forgotten the code if that's what it was?
One more time. Oh my, I can't believe the game is forcing me to have this. Was it the 5th of July? You stare at the number pad. your finger hanging poised over the first digit. After a good minute of self-assurance, second-guessing, doubt, and resolution, you finally enter what you believe to be the correct code and turn to look at the lever. Nothing. Come on! With that exclamation, you slam your fist on the ship's hull, half in frustration and half in shame. Man, this is... I haven't felt this much like guilt-tripped by a video game in ages. I feel terrible about this. You're confident that the code would be yours and Cassie's anniversary, but despite everything, you can't remember the correct date. You fucking moron!
Lieutenant Schitzhund, what are you even doing? Come on! Think! If anyone here is going to have any idea of what Quinn said is the passcode, it's going to be you!
Okay, I know, I'm trying, all right? The rising frustration of being unable to remember the date, as well as Vanessa's goading, does nothing to help your memory, and you find yourself getting more and more agitated as you stare at the number pad.
Come on! A lucky number, an important date, a birthday, a good test score, anything, Lieutenant. Think!
I'm trying.
Well, you're not trying hard enough. If you don't remember that passcode, then...
For a moment, Vanessa's signal drops out, but moments later, her voice is replaced by another. Oh my god. Oh no, this is how the game helps me. Okay. Passcode. Oh.
Passcode 0...
Cassie!
2... 1...
Cassie, hang in there!
1... anniversary.
Cassie, hold on a little longer. We've almost got this. I'll be back in no time. Just...
About time Sleeping Beauty did something to help out around here. You hear that, Lieutenant? 0211. Did you say that was your anniversary?
Without answering, you type the 4 digits in and see the lever rise from the recess it set in. Man, we would have gotten some... I know we're going to get a scolding from Cassie, and I bet we would have gotten some kind of nice, like, dialogue, alternate dialogue, if we just remembered. If I'd just remembered and put that in on my first go. But here we are. I am the idiot, and I feel shit. No kidding. I feel worse shit than a lot of other times that I've bumbled on in a game lately. So, oh man, not good. All right, that's got it. I'm opening the airlock now. Shifting your position away from the number pad, you squat down by the raised lever. Taking it in both hands, you find it much easier to crank than the ones on the main airlock, and in no time at all, the exterior hatch of the airlock is open. As you step inside the ship, you find yourself in a chamber almost identical to the airlock you'd left earlier, with the exception that it was much smaller. Moving quickly now, you close the exterior hatch behind you and follow the inverse process you'd carried out to leave the ship, pressurizing the chamber with oxygen and opening the internal hatch. Nice! We're in it, baby! In a few short minutes, you're back inside the familiar space of the ship's hangar, and you remove your helmet, happy to be breathing something other than the suit's oxygen supply. You then disengage the electromagnets before removing the suit completely, making sure to take the radio with you. Now unencumbered by its bulk and in the low gravity of the hangar, you gently drift towards the equipment storage, the uneasy silence surrounding you. Ooh. Then the music cuts in, though. Let's not do that yet. We can, before we find the PST. Isn't Dalton in here? Are we going to get a jump scare with Dalton showing up? With the power off, that door's not going anywhere. It's a good thing the crew airlock can be controlled manually. None of that's doing me any good right now. I'll have to look through the crates by hand. The armored frames are powered by an internal generator, so they're one of the few things on the ship that still work. Not much use, though, since they'd need to tear their way out of the hangar to get anywhere. That's an option, I guess. Yeah, okay. Tools, equipment, and supplies. The portable sub-terminal that the chief mentioned should be in there somewhere. I guess I should get looking. Let's see. If that PST is going to be anywhere, it'll be in amongst all the stowed equipment and gear, so... Hold on, I put my bottle away. Let me grab it real quick. That was stupid of me to put it that far away from my computer. Grabbed a bottle of Coke for the last hour here to take a quick sip in between, so we can handle this final stretch for today. In the darkness, the collection of stacked or suspended crates, the collection of stacked or suspended crates, containers, and various pieces of heavy machinery looms intimidatingly. Looking from container to container, you realize that none of them are marked in a way that makes any sense to the uninitiated. Shaking your head, you reach for the radio to ask the chief where you'd be able to find it. Before you can call her, you hear the rustle of a jumpsuit's fabric behind you, moments before a wavering voice demands,
Stop right there! Intruder! Identify yourself!
There we go, I knew they'd be here. Looks like he's more scared than we are, though. You raise your hand slowly, being careful not to make any sudden movements. Dalton had done surprisingly well to get the drop on you, and if he was under the impression you were the enemy, he should be armed to confront you like this. At ease, cadet. It's me, Lieutenant Schutzhund.
Oh, Lieutenant! I'm sorry, I thought that...
Turning around slowly, hand still raised, you smile. Don't worry about it. You did good to sneak up on me like that. If I was the enemy... Pausing mid-sentence, you sigh as you realize that Dalton isn't actually holding a firearm. Not that there actually would be such a thing here, you know? Cadet, where's your weapon?
Lieutenant?
If I had been the enemy, what were you planning on making me do without a weapon for encouragement? Dalton pauses briefly, and you see realization flash in his eyes.
Sorry, I didn't think that. Well, I thought that... which is,
Ease up, Dalton. When this is all sorted out, we'll go over anti-boarding procedures, okay?
Yes, thank you, Lieutenant. Although, what exactly is going on, Lieutenant? I was just finishing up something when all the power went out. I haven't been able to get in touch with anyone.
It takes you a few minutes, but you quickly fill Dalton in on the events taking place on board the ship, including your current objective of obtaining the portable subterminal.
The emergency suit radios! Why didn't I think of that? No! The chief's gonna be so mad! She was teaching me suit maintenance just last week! Oh!
Hey, take it easy, cadet. No one else on the ship figured it out on their own either, so don't beat yourself up over it. Also, how many emergency suits are there in this place anyway? How many people can access those in the first place? No.
I guess.
So don't worry about that. What we need to do now is find the PST. Do you know where it's kept?
I think so. Let me look.
With a kick against the container next to him, Dalton propels himself towards a set of smaller crates. Oh yeah, because this is a zero-G zone, the hangar. Right. Once he arrives, you watch as he opens one, rummages through various bits of electronic adjacent-looking hardware, which he fastidiously replaces, before closing the lid and moving on to the one next to it. It takes the cadet checking a few different storage crates before eventually he withdraws a device the size of a briefcase. With it firmly in hand, he slowly drifts back towards you, presenting it once back. Well, presenting it once back? That's a weird phrase.
Here we go, Lieutenant. This is what you're after.
You got a portable subterminal. Ooh, that looks so cool and spacey. So this is the portable subterminal, huh? You take the hefty device from Dalton and turn it over a few times to investigate it from different angles. The exterior is largely one off-white plastic shell with a handle attached, allowing you to carry it like a briefcase. The one visible seam that runs around the entire casing has 2 conspicuous clasps that you release, causing part of the device to fold out, revealing a keyboard alongside various screens, buttons, disk drives, and withdrawable cables. All things that I really would prefer to have still on computers these days, everybody. Alright, Cadet. Can you give me the quick rundown of how to use this?
Yes, Lieutenant. I guess the entry to the thoroughfare would be a good place to try it out.
Sounds better than going for another walk outside the ship. Let's go. The 2 of you make your way through the hangar and up the flights of stairs that lead to the four-side thoroughfare. Once at the top, you're faced with the unyielding set of double doors.
Okay, Lieutenant. First, you need to take the cable from the PST and connect it to the underside of the terminal next to whichever door you want to open. After that, you turn the device on. If you do that now, I'll show you the rest once it's active.
Let's go. Following Dalton's instructions, you kneel by the terminal and withdraw the cable from the device. It's awkward in the darkness, but you eventually connect the cable to a port on the bottom of the terminal.
Once you've got the sub-terminal connected, you can use it in the same way you would the normal terminal. Just select the right function from the menu and insert your key card into this slot when it requests you to. I'll give it a try now.
Alright, let's see. My security key card. Using the small keyboard, you select the Override Open function and then, as Dalton advised, insert your key card. I guess we could have used Cassie's key card as well, but I don't know if that has any effect here, so we'll just do this instead. As expected, although slightly slower than you'd like, the door opens, allowing access to the four-side thoroughfare. Hot damn! Finally progress, everybody. Great work, Cadet! All I need to do now is get this to the captain's quarters, then to engineering, and we'll have the gun dog back up and running in no time. You okay there, Cadet?
Yeah, I just forgot that you had to go get the code from the captain's quarters. Isn't that against the rules or insubordination or something? I thought that it was forbidden to go into the captain's quarters unless explicitly instructed for duty.
You sigh as Dalton shakily removes the cable from the terminal underside and closes the lid on the PST. Technically, yes. But right now the choice is insubordination, or we all suffocate in the vacuum of space. Why did I say vacuum like vacuum? I'm really off today, everybody. Whatever. It's a Jovian accent thing. You wouldn't understand. But don't worry about it. I'm sure the captain will understand why I had to do it. Besides, I've always wanted to see what their quarters look like. So I'd say it's worth it, right?
I guess.
You place a hand on Dalton's shoulder and take the terminal from him. Anyway, you take it easy here. Try to raise the chief on the radio. See if she's got anything for you to do. I've got to get moving.
Yes, Lieutenant.
With that, you give Dalton a casual salute, and in return, he throws a rigid, formal salute back at you. Smiling to yourself, you head through the now open double doors and into the thoroughfare. Alright, cutting quick over here. Let's review the map real quick. We can use this again. Hit up the Corridor 2, where we will find Cassie's and the captain's quarters. Very good. I've just got the PST from the hangar. There's nothing I need in there right now. Just we'll have a quick look-see here. If anyone's in there, they can wait a little longer. Right, Corridor 2. Oops. There's nothing in there for me right now. I need to get to the captain's quarters. Okay, save for everything. Fair enough. Now wait a second, can we even access the captain's quarters? Can we maybe use Cassie's key card to do it? I just now realized, what if that's also locked away? Oh, this is a problem. We're gonna get yelled at by Vanessa again, I just know it. Standing outside the captain's quarters, you look at the heavy device in your hand. It's taken longer than you'd like to get here, but at least now you could get those codes from the captain. Okay, so first I get the PST. You kneel down by the terminal to the side of the door, laying the PST on the ground and unclipping the catches that hold the front of the unit closed. Oh, I just now realized, wait a second, we can totally, this isn't off limits, I think? Because we're a security officer, right? I think it's okay if we can go into the captain's room with our card. We'll see what happens. After it starts up, you swiftly draw out the cable and connect it to the terminal's underside. Squinting at the screen's phosphorescent glow in the low light, you scroll your way through a series of menus to select the unlock function. Once you hit enter on the command, a prompt shows up on the screen. Alright, now... almost anywhere or anything on the ship. Let's see how this goes. Once the device reads your key card, you hear the soft whir of the door unlocking and a hiss as it slowly opens. Hell yeah, I didn't need Cassie's card yet. Okay, I can leave this here for the time being. You stand up and step in front of the door, which continues its painfully slow opening. Come on, come on, come on! Ooh, a fancy space compared to the compartments we've been hanging out in. Are those the space colonies there? Oh, they look just like the colonies in Gundam, speaking of. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's really neat. Captain, are you... Ugh! That's... Ugh! As you step across the threshold into the dark of the captain's quarters, you're instantly overwhelmed by a powerful fetor. I think that's a smell, I think? That's a really fancy word. You gag and stumble your way back to the door, taking a deep breath of the corridor's sterile air. Is something dying here? Is the captain dead? Oh no. You try to compose yourself, but the odor drifts out around you, and a particularly acrid waft stings the back of your throat as you take another breath, causing you to gag again. Is this just becoming that thing? Was it Mouthwashing? Was that really popular horror game that also had a captain all beat up and horribly maimed, and you had to then handle crew mission stuff? That was a very popular horror game, I remember, so... Taking a swig myself here, don't mind me. Ugh! Ugh! The atmosphere on ships and even the colonies are carefully regulated, and the air supply constantly scrubbed and recycled. Because of this, strong smells are something that are almost never encountered and quickly resolved. You realize that with the ship's life support out of action, this hasn't been happening, and whatever is causing the stench in the captain's quarters has been left to putrefy the air into this awful miasma. After a few more retches, you steel yourself to re-enter the room. Before heading in, you bring your arm up in front of your mouth and nose to do your best to bear the stink. Although you're doing your best to breathe as lightly as possible, the odor still assaults you, almost too much to bear. We should go and get our spacesuit again and just then creep around here in the EVA suit. Captain, are you... Are you in here, Captain? With no answer, you carry on deeper into the quarters. As you grow accustomed to the smell, you begin to pick up the unique odors that it's comprised of. The first scent that you identify brings back memories of your early flight training, the acidic tang of vomit. Ugh. The second takes you a little while longer, sour and chemical. You wonder for a moment if it's one of the substances they use to strip paintwork from ships or armored frames, but then you spy an empty bottle on the desk and realize what it is. Stale whiskey. Sick, huh? Okay. Sick from alcoholism, I guess. With the cause of the captain's absence now obvious, you look around the room. To the left is another closed door. To the right, you see an open doorway and what looks like the end of the bed. Captain! You call out again as you head towards it. Although your reason for being here is entirely justifiable, you still feel a bit hesitant about barging in. Captain! Nothing. All right, Captain, I'm coming in. We need those. Having stepped through the doorway, you find yourself in a room that's much closer to a normal bedroom than the crew quarters. Yeah, it kind of just looks like a house room. Rather than access panels flush with the walls for storage, the room has actual furniture. A chest of drawers sits below a large mirror, and a bedside table is right next to an unmade queen-sized bed. For a moment you think that, like Cassie is wont to do, the captain has just thrown her worn uniform onto the bed and left it all in a heap. Uh-oh. Oh no. But before you turn back, a sluggish movement as the mass of crumpled clothing turns over reveals it to be Captain Bartermuse herself. Okay, she's not looking as messed up as I thought she would be. I thought they'd show her really, really destitute if she hasn't been on a bender. But, alright. Ah! Captain! You throw a salute and hold it for a moment before you realize that the captain is completely oblivious to your presence. Tentatively making your way towards the captain's bedside, you register that the smell of stale whiskey is strongest in her immediate vicinity. As you look around, you notice another bottle lies mostly empty, with a small pool of amber liquid left in one of its corners. Captain. You run your hands back through your hair and sigh loudly. Regardless of all this, you remind yourself, you're here to get the emergency input codes. Captain. Hey, Captain. Captain Bartermuse. You place your palm on the captain's upper arm and rock her gently. Captain, come on. You need to wake up. We need your emergency input code. I guess this explains, because I was kind of wondering, like, I was saying that earlier, like, if we break into the captain's room to get the input codes, we could just ask the captain for the codes herself, but if she were to be knocked out on a Disco Elysium level whiskey bender, yeah, that would be a complication that would force us to just get those codes then, huh? So, alright, it never is easy, eh? Ugh. Captain! Wake up! Captain! Captain! You step back and pinch the bridge of your nose with your thumb and forefinger. Despite everything, it doesn't seem the captain will be waking up from this stupor anytime soon. Oh, come on! After everything. If I can't get the codes from the captain directly, maybe she keeps a copy of them around here or something. Worth a shot. Okie dokie, I guess we will take a look-see then for this code then. The captain's bedroom. It's actually pretty nice. This is the first time I've seen a captain's quarters, so I didn't know they were this different. Privilege of rank, I guess. And then this lovely painting, let's see. A painting of the first colony fleet to enter Jupiter's orbit. What do you think this is, by the way? I'm a little bit alarmed by that. Probably just like a artistic flourish, Doesn't make much sense otherwise. If I remember my civics lessons, they were funded by a wealthy Terran industrialist who had them built to serve as habitats for a workforce that would harvest resources from Jupiter and her moons for his company's sake. It's a big investment for such huge colonies. After a few decades, the population had enough of existing with no autonomy and living on company scrip, so they took control of the fleet and petitioned to join the Solar Federation. We all know how that ended. Interesting trivia. If the captain's got an actual bedroom, I wonder if this is an... Ugh! It's an actual bathroom, all right. But now I know where the smell of vomit is coming from. What was I expecting to find in there anyway? An empty bottle of whiskey, aside from a few leftover drops. Europa Colony Special Blend. Okie doke. And finally, let's check where, I thought this might be where it could be, but the obvious place to put some files in. A pretty nice desk. It must be where the captain does all of her work when she's not on the bridge. If that's the case, then... As I thought, it's got a few drawers at the back next to where she'd sit. If the codes are anywhere, they'd be in here. I know I've seen Cassie hand the captain printed reports and status updates. Maybe she's still got a copy of those codes in here. Taking a swig myself here. It's not whiskey, don't worry, it's just Pepsi Max. Pepsi Max, excuse me. Decaf. They sell that now. I really love it. You try to open the top drawer, but the small amount of initial give stops almost immediately as you hear a clunk. Clunk. You try a few more times and then spot a keyhole to the left of the drawer. Checking the second and third drawers gives you the same result. Locked. Of course. I'll have to find the key. Over here? Ugh. You were uncomfortable enough making your way in here in the first place, but now that you're about to rummage your way through the captain's personal effects, you feel even worse. Let's get this over with. Doing a quick scan of the room in the hopes that the captain may have left a key on top of the chest of drawers or her bedside table proves fruitless. So, you tentatively step back inside, nervously looking back to the captain's comatose form every few moments. Sorry about this, Captain. Standing by the chest of drawers, you lay your hand on its top and drum your fingers before nervously pulling the top one open. Seeing only folded clothing inside, you close it quickly, going on to repeat this process for the next two drawers, finding nothing. Now hold on, you absolutely would need to go through the clothing to check in case the key is hidden underneath the pile. This is being sloppy work, Lieutenant. Stepping back, you take another look around. The only immediately obvious place left to check is the drawer in the bedside table, right next to the captain. Moving over to it, you squat down beside the unit, acutely aware of the captain sleeping right next to you. In the low light, it's next to impossible for you to make out the contents of the drawer, so you have to settle for reaching inside and feeling your way through. Running your fingers over the various contents, you try to figure out what's in there. A thin plastic surface with regular bumps, which feels like it has a foil underside. Oh, okay, like pills. A small glass, like a little, what's it called? That little file that pills come in. A small glass bottle with a series of raised dots just under the label. Various individual papers. Like another medicine bottle, maybe? Aha! You grab a hold of what feels like a key card clipped onto a lanyard and pull it out of the drawer. The metallic jangling sound that comes with it is quickly revealed to be a key ring featuring various different keys. One of these has got to be the key for those. Oh, that's a good scare. I was kind of wondering if this would happen. Oh, I really love that. Oh, no. This is awkward. Lieutenant. You freeze in place with your hand half out of the drawer, holding onto the captain's identity card and keys. You hadn't seen her stir, but in the blink of an eye, Captain Bartermuse had managed to reach out and grab a hold of your wrist. Oh, this is interesting. Would we be defensive, or try to get her, get on her case? I don't know. I think Saul is a little bit fed up with the captain's antics. I think I would go with this bottom option instead of, playing this card. So let's see. The captain's grip on your wrist isn't particularly strong, but the shock has rendered you perfectly still. You slowly turn your head to face her and see her lazily gazing at you through the darkness. Lieutenant? You hold on to your breath for a moment, then exhale slowly, calming yourself. What are you? Composing yourself, you speak calmly and quietly. I'm sorry, Captain. Oh, it's explain yourself was explain myself. Okay, I thought it was like demanding her to explain herself. Whoopsie daisy, I'm dumb. Yeah, I don't know, like, would Saul have panicked in this situation or been calm? I think we're playing as a straight shooter guy is how I've been playing him. So I feel like he would have tried to keep calm here instead of, like, having a Dalton-esque panic. I don't know. I'm sorry, Captain. It's an emergency, and I've come to get your input codes. Emergency? All the ship's systems have gone offline. Commander Quinn has collapsed. I've been working with Chief Cathays and Lieutenant Lord to get your codes so that we can get the ship back online. The captain blinks groggily a few times and releases your wrist, drawing her hand back to rub her eyes. As she does, you slowly take the keys from the bedside drawer and stand. That's why I'm here. I thought the codes might be in your desk drawer, but I needed the key. Although you're doing your best to maintain your tone and demeanor, on the inside, your heart is racing as you consider the possibility of being given a court-martial here and now. Sounds important. Well, yes, ma'am. I'd say we all consider it pretty crucial right now. The captain continues to gaze at you as you stand to attention in the darkness. After a moment in which you think she may have fallen back to sleep, she rolls onto her back and brings her hand to her forehead. The printout with the latest access codes. It's in the second drawer. You breathe a sigh of relief as the captain rolls to face away from you. Just don't read the report. Ma'am? You wait for a few moments, but eventually a gentle snore emerges from the crumpled heap that is Captain Bartermuse, and you relax. Second drawer. Thanks, Captain. Alright, you got the captain's key ring. Snazzy. A collection of keys. Presumably they've all got something to do with ship systems. All I've got to worry about is the one that opens her desk. No, wait, I want to use it. How do I use it? No, can I just look at the desk again? Alright, let's see which one. Oh, and now I use it. Okay, the syntax of this game, a little bit weird, but whatever. There we go. Like, you could have just had me just use the key then and there to get progress, but I guess you gotta first choose the item you're gonna use the key on, and then you get to progress. You spend a few moments working your way through the selection of the keys that hang from the ring on the end of the captain's lanyard. You're able to discount a few based on their unusual shapes, but finding the right one is still a tricky task in the dark. Eventually, you find one that slides easily into the lock and turns the mechanism, which lets out a surprisingly hefty clunk. The captain said the codes were in the second drawer, so... You open that drawer first and purposefully leaf through the collections of papers, reports, and files that it contains. Crew manifest, security updates. Aha! You see the telltale tractor feet edges of the printer paper that you've seen Cassie produce updates and reports for the captain, sticking out from underneath a manila folder. As you lift the paper out of the drawer, the folder on top begins to spill its contents. You quickly grab it to stop everything from falling out, and as you do, you can't help but read its title. Oh, which she just said we weren't supposed to do! JCF Naval Investigatory Commission Findings, Incident 00784, 21st of September 209. Subject, Rear Admiral M. Bartermuse. Rear Admiral? That's like a higher rank than just Captain, I'm pretty sure. Interesting. With what you believe to be the printout that would contain the codes in one hand, and this report in the other, you look back towards the captain's bedroom as you remember her instructions. Just don't read the report. You hesitate for a moment, rereading the title. Rear Admiral. Ooh, we're too much of a straight shooter. I'm sorry, everybody, but I just can't do it. I can't read the report. It's not right. You stare at the cover of the report for a few moments before placing it back in the drawer. Whatever is in that report, it's not your place to know it. Besides, you've got much more important things to worry about right now. Taking the printout in both hands, you lift it up to the light, starting at the top and letting the rest of the continuous ream of paper unfurl. Oh, I can imagine those like fax paper things that are in a pile that just fold out. Oh, I love that. Very retro. Your eyes scan the document for any key phrases that look appropriate until you see what you're looking for. Classified. Core system access codes. Generation date 20th of April. Brain fart there. 214. Okay, so that Rear Admiral report was 5 years old. Okay. For Captain and Second only. Finally! Tearing the relevant page from the rest of the document at its perforated edges, you fold it up and stuff it into your pocket. You got the access codes! Oh yeah, look at that printout paper. I love it. Turning to leave, you pause for a second before taking a moment to quickly stuff the rest of the documents back into their relevant drawers, and then locking them back up. With the codes finally in your possession, you briskly make your way back towards the corridor outside the captain's quarters, where you've left the PST. As you approach the doorway, you take hold of the radio and push down the transmission button to report the good news. Okay, so I was trying to actually make a guess here of like how bad the situation would get. I thought that like some kind of betrayal would happen and someone would try stealing the PST when we left it. I think we're past that much meanness, so I think we're in the clear. I don't know. Okay, Chief, Lieutenant Lord, I've got the codes. You release the push-to-talk button and wait. You give it a moment, but instead of more instruction from the Chief or some kind of backhanded congratulation from Lieutenant Lord, all you hear is with a powerful hiss of static. Okay, that's a little more alarming. I was thinking someone was going to steal the PST, but radio silence with both of them? That's a little bit scarier. Chief? You try again. Lieutenant Lord? Still nothing. Anyone? Come on! You give the radio a shake and spend a few moments adjusting the frequency dials. But you still don't hear anything from anyone, just a hiss of static. For a moment, you feel like throwing the radio down the corridor, but instead you slump against the nearest wall and hold your head in one hand. Slouching against the wall in the low light for a moment longer, you sigh loudly before turning and kneeling down by the PST, which you begin to pack back up. Yeah, I mean, you know, the situation's not that terrible. We can take the PST, go to the access of the engine room, open that door, and the Chief will be there, and we can just talk it out on how to fix the sitch. You've got the codes, you just can't get them to the Chief over the radio. The next best thing, you decide, is to get them to her in person. Right, we were just going to call the Chief. Okay, that's actually way smarter, but yeah, complications. You clip the latches on the PST closed and pick it up as you stand, turning to make your way through the darkness towards the Foresight thoroughfare. Let's hustle. Central Hub, duh. I wonder where Hansen is at this point. We should have been bumping into him by now. He was running around here free, you know. Alright. Move to engineering. Oh, we're just allowed to move now with that PST. Let's go. Outside of the huge blast door that separates the aft thoroughfare from the engineering department, you begin the increasingly familiar process of unpacking the PST. Alright, I set up the PST. Uh-oh, we've got maximum items, by the way. That whole inventory was filled up. First withdrawing the cable, then plugging it into the terminal near the door, You boot up the device and begin cycling through the options. Okay, and then... this should still work. We can go in engineering. With the device set up, you hit the enter key on the unlock option and turn your attention towards the partition that stands between you and the engineering department. Unlike the other doors, the PST's battery power had been used to open. This blast door is inches thick and comprised almost entirely of solid steel. You watch tentatively as a low grinding sound emanates from the ceiling for about 10 seconds before the door even begins to move. Like the others, the opening process is agonizingly slow. In the darkness of the thoroughfare, time seems to lose all meaning as you watch the door almost imperceptibly work its way upwards. After a few minutes, the barely noticeable progress comes to a halt and the low grinding sound stops, with the blast door giving you just over a foot of clearance between it and the floor. Oh, I was gonna say, like, why is he waiting for the whole door to open? You could kind of, like, slip in when it was halfway open. But never mind, it is actually real bad. It's, wow. Okay. It's only a foot up. A guy can build crawl through that, but not good. Turning your attention back towards the PST, you see a graphic of an empty battery with a cross through it blinking on the screen. That is mega shit, because I'm pretty sure we still need it to access the central computer, right? We are in mega doo-doo now. Oh, no. Oh, look, this cool cut-in of us, yeah. Which, again, just as a reminder, you get a different character design if you pick a different, genre for your character. Like, at least in the couple of cut-ins I tried with a she-her character, there was, a Salem ass-looking character, doing this in the other sequences, so, it's a little bit of replay value, I suppose. But yeah, nice, we get an actual front-face shot of Saul Schutzhund here. Very good. Knowing that the blast door is being kept open by the device's dwindling battery power, you drop to the floor and, grabbing the PST, begin to crawl forward into engineering. Oh, is there a risk here that the door drops back down on us? Wow, this just got intense. There's just enough clearance for you to worm your way underneath, but the smooth panel floor turning to grating makes it an uncomfortable experience. Oh lord, it's like the end of The Mummy when they're like making their escape and they have to get through that final shutting down, like slip through that final shutting down part, and Benny gets left behind. That's rough. Oh no! Oh my god! By the time you make it halfway through, with your feet still sticking out in the aft thoroughfare, the grinding noise that had stopped at the door starts back up again. No, 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 no! You shove the PST ahead of you through the small gap, being mindful to not yank out the cable plugged into the underside of the terminal. Ignoring the grating now, you quickly squirm the rest of the way until you're clear of the door. Then, rolling onto your back, you grab the PST's cable and give it a swift tug, pulling it out of the terminal on the other side and back to you just before the blast door drops shut. Damn, that was some dramatic shit. Oh boy, it's like Geordie LaForge doing that dramatic roll. Ooh, that's an old meme, if anybody remembers that one. I'm making myself a dinosaur again, repeating that story. Ooh. That was way too close. You stand up, then quickly pick up the PST, which still has the low battery warning blinking on its screen. Okay, maybe enough juice to get the computer room open. That's good. Chief! Your call is met with the oppressive silence that somehow seems worse in the vast space of the engineering department. How could she have vanished in this situation? Chief! It's me! Lieutenant Schutzhund! I've got the PST! Chief! Making your way past various systems, terminals, stations, and machinery, you continue to call out to the chief, but there's no response. Where the hell could she be? As you continue your way deeper into engineering, you grab the radio. Chief! Just like the last time you tried, no one answers, and all you hear is static. Chief! You dart down different catwalks trying to find the Chief, your mind racing as to where she could be. Chief! With the low battery warning illuminating your face in increasingly small intervals with its constant flashing, you stop. Looking down at the PSD screen, you make a decision. Well, I've done everything else myself. Turning back from the main section of engineering, you make a beeline over to the room that holds the central computer, your footsteps on the grating echoing throughout the silence. I may as well finish things. As you begin to run, the PSD starts to beep and the battery symbol flashes even more rapidly. If you're running out of battery, then don't use what you've got left flashing and beeping. Running at full pelt now towards the central computer, you reach it just as the PSD's whole screen begins to blink, cycling between showing the warning and nothing at all. Goddamn this tension, you guys! Once you arrive at the doorway that leads to the central computer, you know what you've got to do. Once you arrive at the doorway that leads to the central computer, you know what you've got to do. Let's go. I was thinking of doing a cliffhanger, but let's go a little bit longer here, everybody. Wasting no time, you withdraw the cable and hurriedly plug it into the terminal with one hand, while scrolling through options with the other. Come on, hang in there. Come on, almost there. And now, everybody, that's right. This is the time where we need all access. And now, there. As soon as the door begins to open, you jump to it and start pushing on it in order to force it open. Once you've made the gap large enough, you slip through at the exact same moment as you hear the PSD power down, and the door slides back shut. Oh, shoot. It takes a moment, but your eyes adjust to the darkness of the room. Looking around, you see that it is little bigger than a cleaning cupboard or a crew member's shower cubicle. This is getting so dramatic, by the way. I love the mounting tension. Like, we are just running out of options here, so we are really down to the wire. I really love the tension here in this situation, because after we got the PSD and were able to sneak around in the hangar and the captain's room, tensions fell a little bit, and now shit is real again. Masses of thick cabling run from the ceiling and floor along the walls towards the end of the room opposite the doorway. On the far side is a huge screen with a keyboard positions below it at about waist height. Stepping towards the interface, you run your hand over the keys. The computer shows no sign of life, even after you begin to push random buttons. That's not good. Simply mashing the keyboard doesn't produce any response, so instead you begin to feel your way over its casing in the darkness, trying to find what might be a power button. Eventually, you find a rocker switch set into the side of the device. You flick it to the alternate position once, but nothing happens. That's not good. With no other options, you flick it back to the position it was in. This time, the screen illuminates and you hear electronics come to life. That's so weird. Okay. Ooh. Gen P, General Electronic Network Platform. Good stuff. Ooh, but I don't feel like I'm smart enough to use this thing. I'm a little young to have experienced DOS. Like, as a little kid, I got to do a little bit of working with DOS, mainly just to know how to open up my, games folder, but yeah, I'm not very good with these. Oh, someone is in the chat. Dara drops in saying, "Hi, just stopping in to say hi. I'm in school right now. Mew. Hello there, thank you for dropping in. Please do focus on your schoolwork. I would really appreciate it if you prioritize that, but I do appreciate you also dropping in and saying hello. We're almost done with the episode here. I'm going to be closing it up soon, so if you're still interested, I do recommend looking up the VOD once we're done here. But yeah, thank you for stopping by, dear viewer. We're in a real pickle here, so I do recommend popping in and seeing how we get out of this harrowing situation. So, as a hard drive somewhere beyond the screen begins to whir loudly, the screen transitions from its boot screen to a password input screen. After everything you've been through, you're now one input away from getting the ship back online. Finally! Alright. And I guess we use the access codes? These are the codes needed to reboot the central computer and get the ship's systems back online. In normal circumstances, these are given only to the captain or head of operations. Let's use them. And enter! With a final flourish, you strike the return key. An immense feeling of satisfaction fills you as you watch the computer work its way through the startup process. Names of systems show up and are followed by their status changing from offline to active. And I got an achievo, but I forgot to read what it said, but some kind of good achievo for succeeding in this mission. A faint draft runs down your neck, which you take to mean life support and ventilation is back online. Alright, hold on, Cassie, no? Wait, what? No! Come on! You're hit with a gut punch of panic as the visuals on the screen begin to warp, fragments of text scatter, and lines of code split and distort, whilst a strange noise squeals from the machinery. Don't do this! Unsure of what's going on, but beginning to think that it is your fault, you look over the keyboard again, repeatedly striking any key that seems like it may stop this process. End! Escape! Pause! 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 That isn't helping. Oh boy. Come on! What? What the? Those were personnel. Those are pictures of our crew. There was at least... yeah, Cruise Hansen popped up, and that's the captain. Daughter of... oh, wait a second. This is juicy. Hold on. Daughter of... I say this is juicy, but earlier I was like, I shouldn't, like, read the captain's files, but here we are. All right. Daughter of... Specialist. Demoted for... Failure at... Something here. Gundog... Service... Confirmed. Bleh. I missed who was here, actually. I hate to admit it, but it came so fast. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know who popped up in this file, sadly. And here is Cassandra Quinn, Europa Colony 01, Lieutenant Commander, yabba dabba da. State Ward, Europa Orphanage, Co 7, directed towards Academy Post Care. Top marks. Highly capable but erratic. Dismissed from JFS Reliant due to significant failing in security process. Alrighty. Ugh! What's going on? This is, most of this is what we know, but did we know that she was from an orphanage? I don't know. As suddenly as it started, the computer's erratic activity ceases, with the only document left on screen, Cassie's personnel file. Cassie's file? Wait, why? You pause, unsure whether you should do anything or leave it as it is. You can tell from the ambient noise that has returned that the ship is back online. But why would the computer freak out like this? Why would it pull up Cassie's file? Oh! No! Huh? Doing your best to understand what you just saw, you tentatively reach a hand out towards the keyboard. You're still unsure of what you could do to find out what just happened, but can't help but feel like whatever it was wasn't right.
Shitend! Shitend! I need you up on the bridge right now!
You withdraw your hand, instead grabbing the radio to answer Lieutenant Lord. Alright! I'm on my way back now. How's Lieutenant Quinn doing?
There's no time for her! Get up here now!
You curse under your breath as you turn to leave the room. You've learned now that if Lieutenant Lord doesn't intend to be helpful, she won't be. Rather than attempt to argue, you make your way through the ship back towards the bridge. Okay. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, I'm going to call it here. Alright, I'm just going to... But let's not call it quite yet here. Let's see what's going on in here. As the elevator doors hiss open, you step onto the bridge. You see Lieutenant Lord frenziedly flicking switches and turning dials on an instrument panel, stopping every so often to type commands into her station. Cassie, meanwhile, remains unconscious on the bridge floor. I'm here, Lieutenant. What else is wrong now? You hurry over to Cassie and kneel down, sliding your hands under her back and legs in preparation to pick her up and take her to the newly accessible sickbay.
It's the O'Brien!
With a single movement, you stand and bring Cassandra up from the floor. What about it?
It's gone!
Ooh. April 23rd, Planetary Calendar 214. Despite the successful reactivation of the JFS Gundog central computer by Lieutenant Schutzhund, the JFS O'Brien could not be contacted and was no longer coming up on sensors. After taking Lieutenant Commander Quinn to the sickbay, Lieutenant Schutzhund, alongside Cadet Grange, are tasked with sweeping the ship for faults or damage, whilst Lieutenant Lord sets Chief Cathays to work, helping her locate the other ship. Alright. Oh, once again, alright. The JFS O'Brien is eventually located just as Captain Bartermuse calls an emergency meeting. Oh, okay. I thought it would keep being missing. Alright. Outer Jovian space. The bridge of the Jovian patrol ship JFS Gundog. Ooh, this music is dramatic. I like it. But this is where we're going to call it for today, everybody. After all that drama and that cliffhanger, we solved the crises on the ship. Problems are, now our immediate death by asphyxiation on this spaceship are solved. But, the mystery of the O'Brien is our next cause of consternation. And that's a great cliffhanger to call it for today. So, thank you for dropping in if you dropped in to watch, or if you watched the VOD, thank you also for that. That is also much appreciated, much love. This is really exciting still. I'm really, really gripped by this. My incredible frustration of that, keypad puzzle was a downside, but I don't think I'm really mad at the game. I'm just really whipping myself, as I often do when I screw up on a memory puzzle thing like that. So, it is what it is. It's too bad. But, I can't promise that I can keep doing this as regularly as I have. Once again, I will see if next Monday I could pop in and have another session of this. I do want to continue this at some point. So, let's say that next week around the same time this will happen. Hopefully, I will at least aim to do that. But, otherwise I'm just going to have to remain kind of an annoying random streamer guy with irregular schedules, so no. But I'll try to have them be on Mondays for now, so you can at least have a little bit of consistency on that then, I guess. So, hopefully, next Monday, we will figure out what this next mystery involving the missing O'Brien is. Well, it's not missing anymore. We'll find out what the cause for the emergency meeting is and what the status of the O'Brien is. I'm suspecting a little bit of an alienish spacewalk onto an abandoned spaceship. Got a funny feeling we might be doing a little bit of adventurizing like that, yeah? Yeah. But, that's gonna have to wait for next time. So, once again, thank you for popping in and watching, and I hope you guys are also as gripped by Stories from Seoul, the Gundog. Catch you all next time, everybody. Have a good evening, or day, or morning. Bye-bye!